Hello there. And since this is the 22nd of September, the birthday, as many of you will know, of Frodo and Bilbo, and almost as importantly, of Joan Jett, great, great rock and roller. Um, I'm going to do a little bit more today than I usually do. First of all, I want to talk about this book here a little bit. Just going to give it a plug. Why We Love Middle Earth by Sean Marchese, the Lord of the Mark, and Alan Sisto, the Man of the West, who have run for a long time the Prancing Pony podcast. Sean has since taken the straight road for the undying lands of Austin, Texas, and is not a regular anymore, unfortunately. But Alan has a great number of wonderful co-hosts that he's invited, impressed into service, and they've all done a wonderful job. But anyway, I just wanted to recommend this book. If you know somebody who's new to Tolkien, whether the movies, the films, or the Tolkien fandom, the Prancing Pony is a great place to start. It's fun. It's accessible. These people will make you laugh while they teach you things, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing. I once compared them to the car talk. Once called them the car talk of Tolkien podcasts. And if you know anything about car talk, you get the picture. Anyway, it's a fun book. It's a fun read. They're great guys. So so baby needs a new pair of shoes. So just help him out there. Anyway, this week we're going to talk about Chapter 4 a little. Yes, this is my book. I think of it as the Black Book of Brooklyn. Chapter 4 is what we're going to talk about this week. So I'm going to start off by reading the summary of what I cover in Chapter 4, and then read a little bit of a selection from Chapter 4. Again, like I said earlier, a bit of a longer selection. Okay, so Chapter 4 from the introduction. In Chapter 4, we follow Frodo as he leaves behind the perks of being the Mr. Baggins of Bag End, who found the ring of use for ducking his relatives. But with every step he takes along the road to Rivendell, new physical and spiritual challenges arise. Black Riders, first and last, Old Man Willow, Tom Bombadil, and the Barrow-wight. And his encounters with these characters reveal how complicated and often murky his relationship with the ring can be. While his courage and vision grow as a result, his foolhardy attempt to command the Black Riders at the ford betrays the influence of the ring, drawing him across the line that separates defiance from domination. Okay, so that was the summary from the introduction. Now I'm going to read a small part from Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called very simply From Bag End to Rivendell. The chapters in my books are named what they are mostly because they're not thematically structured. So it's to have a thematic title wouldn't really help. In the book I go through Frodo's journey with him there and back again, and so do my chapters, and my chapters trace that journey. Anyway, from Chapter 4, From Bag End to Rivendell, subsection which is called The Burden of Mastery. Ever since the thinking fox saw the hobbits asleep in the wood, they have been slowly and steadily moving into a world larger than their mundane perceptions have known so far. It is no accident that this fox encounters them just beyond the limits of Sam's geographical knowledge, or that the next day Sam looks on woods he has never before seen and asks if elves live there. Pippin's main concerns are food and rest. He has no knowledge of, and less interest in whether the woods are inhabited. Sam, however, has been open to fairy from childhood, and coming of age did not change that. He may not have seen the fox, But once he has gone beyond what he knows, he expects elves. Thus, he knows that his old life is being left behind as he crosses the Brandywine. Thus, he is the least taken in by Old Man Willow's singing, and thus he alone sleeps peacefully in the house of Tom Bombadil. This transition from a narrow mentality is essential for all the hobbits, but especially for Frodo, whose perspective has been challenged from the moment Gandalf informed him of the true identity of Bilbo's ring. We have already seen him reject one part of that challenge, that is, pity. But in crossing into Tom's country, he will meet the most difficult character to construe in all of Middle-earth, and undergo the most unusual of all his experiences with the ring. As a result, he will take a step forward. But even a positive goal or emotion like Gandalf's pity will be subverted by the pull of the ring's power. So the gain Frodo makes will come with its own temptations. That is, of course, part of his journey. Tom Bombadil has perplexed readers of The Lord of the Rings from the beginning, and the ring's lack of power over him is a remarkable piece of common knowledge among them all. Now, who and what Tom Bombadil is will likely remain an unsolved mystery. Tolkien never really bothered to fit him into the legendarium or the present tale in any way we can easily parse. Given his tendency, Tolkien's that is, to establish links even to things far outside the legendarium proper, his failure to do so for a character within it is quite curious. Just as he did not know of the Entwives' end, he did not want to know the answer to Old Tom's beginnings. He wondered early in the writing of The Lord of the Rings if Tom might become the hero of his story, but decided the best he could be was, quote, enlarged, unquote. And enlarged he was into, quote, an enigma, intentionally, unquote, into a character whose role or function in the story mattered more than he did as a person within it. And Tolkien writes in letter number 144, quote, Tom Bombadil is not an important person to the narrative. I suppose he has some importance as a comment, and he represents something that I feel important, though I would not be prepared to analyze the feeling precisely. I would not, however, have left him in if he did not have some kind of function. I might put it this way. The story is cast in terms of a good side and a bad side, beauty against ruthless ugliness, tyranny against kingship, moderated freedom with consent against compulsion that has long lost any object save mere power, and so on. But both sides, in some degree, conservative or destructive, want a measure of control. But if you have renounced control and take your delight in things for themselves without reference to yourself, watching, observing, and to some extent knowing, then the question of the rights and wrongs of power and control might become entirely meaningless to you, and the means of power quite valueless. End quote. In a work so devoted to exploring the perils of power to good and evil alike, surely a character who is good, but untrammeled by the desire to dominate or possess, will have some effect on a character who carries a burden like Frodo's. As with the Ring and Beowulf, Tolkien again found himself resistant to the idea of vivisection by scientific analysis, and more inclined to feel his way to the truth of a myth he had neither the words nor the desire to explain, if it could be explained. Hence the enigma that has defied the analysis of scholars, fans, and filmmakers for 75 years. We must wait, it would seem, for someone to write Bombadil, the master and the critics, for Old Tom, as Tolkien did for Beowulf. Yet, we can make a start by saying that what is essential about myths like Beowulf and mythic figures like Tom Bombadil is not the particular, but the universal. What and who is Tom is the wrong question. Is he the oldest of all living things, or is Treebeard, is the wrong question. We might do better to let Tom ask the questions. Tolkien's commentary in the letter quoted above and in Beowulf and the Monster and the Critics shows that he understood this. The Hobbit's experience of fairy in Tom's country is mythic and profound, and allows them to see into the depths of time and space under his and Goldberry's guidance. Like the star of Earendel that Sam glimpses above Mordor, everything the hobbits see, hear, and experience in the House of Bombadil speaks of a joy and a beauty beyond any momentary evil or fear or burden. This we can see in the progression of Frodo's dreams, which move from the nightmares he has in Crick Hollow and the next night, his first under Bombadil's roof, to the transcendent dream, or was it a vision, he has of the Undying Lands right before he wakes on the morning he leaves. Crucial to this awakening to a larger world is the scene with Bombadil and the ring. It comes after a day passed with Tom telling many tales, a day whose duration stretched beyond Frodo's ken, and an evening spent in the singing of many songs by Goldberry, songs whose effect was even more remarkable, giving the hobbits the feeling that they were seeing the world from outside the very vault of the heavens. Like Ariel's song to Ferdinand in The Tempest, Goldberry's enchantment allows the hobbits to peer into something rich and strange they could never have guessed at before. Unlike Ariel's enchantment, however, Goldberry's song contains no deceit. Rather than telling a lie about a particular death as Ariel does, Goldberry offers a vast perspective on the universe in which the sea seems to merge with the stars, with the sky and the stars shine like jewels in their depths. In this vision, even the sea, that hobbit token of death, proves to be a part of a high and transcendent beauty without fear or hint of evil. And that's it for today. Everyone, enjoy Tolkien Week, and happy birthday to Bilbo, Frodo, and Joan, and anybody else who may be sharing the day with them. Take care now. We'll see you before too long.